This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Government makes amendments to burial ban. The government has made amendments to the ban on burials, which remain in effect until the 22nd of March. In a release yesterday, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie said effective March 13, the state will allow the following: the burial or cremation of bodies that are in an advanced state of decomposition, the burial or cremation of bodies that are not in an advanced state of decomposition but have been recommended for immediate burial by the appropriate health authorities, the burial or cremation of indigent persons who die in state care. I want to make it clear that only the clergy will be allowed to administer the final rites for persons who are buried or cremated in these three circumstances. No family gathering will be allowed. The current order prohibiting burials remains in effect, McKenzie emphasized. Persons will be allowed to obtain death certificates for submission to the Registrar General's Department to facilitate preparations for burials when the ban is lifted. What this means is that, effective Monday, March 15, the Registrar General's Department will issue burial orders after receiving death certificates, he said. He was careful to note that the issue of burial orders does not change the ban. Therefore, to prevent floating of the ban, he said municipal corporations will not be issuing interment orders which are needed to effect burials. The ban on burials came about because of the total disregard for the COVID-19 protocols at grave sites all over the country and the connection between this behavior and the spike in cases and hospitalizations. The government will continue to do everything to bring these numbers down and save lives, said McKenzie. Additional proposals from stakeholders are being considered for implementation, he said. JDF says it won't take responsibility if members fail to get vaccinated. The Jamaica Defense Force says members who choose not to be inoculated against COVID-19 will have to indemnify the force from any responsibility pertaining to direct consequences of their failure to be immunized. The JDF announced its stance in a release to the press. It comes against a background of concerns among soldiers about taking the vaccine. Members of the JDF are among frontline workers who are to be immunized under Phase 1 of the National Vaccination Program. Their inoculation began on Wednesday, with the JDF's Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Rocky Meade, being the first member of the force to receive his first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine gifted by India. Notwithstanding the example set by the Chief of Defense Staff, no member of the force is ordered to take the vaccine. However, service members who choose not to take the vaccine will need to indemnify the JDF from all responsibilities which directly result from their failure to be inoculated, the release from the JDF stated. The force maintained that it is aligned with government's policy and directives for distribution of the vaccine. Through Meade, it has also been encouraging members to get vaccinated. By taking the vaccine, we are protecting others by first protecting ourselves. This is what we do on a daily basis as men and women of the JDF. The release quoted Meade as telling service members recently. Gun seized in Brandon Hill, St. Andrew. A 9mm pistol with 4 rounds of ammunition were seized during an operation in Brandon Hill, St. Andrew yesterday, the police said. They said about 7:45 a.m., lawmen conducted an operation in the area during which the gun was found in a barrel on a premises that was being searched. It was seized by the police. No one has been arrested in relation to the seizure. Investigations continue. Spanish Town man sought over common law wife's murder. Detectives assigned to the Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch have named a man as a person of interest in relation to the murder of his common-law wife, 37-year-old Tamika Richards of Manchester Lane in Spanish Town. He has been identified as 27-year-old Raheem Woodhouse, otherwise called Pops of Mother Smith Lane, Spanish Town. Woodhouse is asked to turn himself in to the Spanish Town Police by 6 p.m. today. In the meantime, lawmen are appealing to anyone with information that can assist them in their investigations to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305 or 876-984-2874, the police 119 emergency number or the nearest police station. Jamaican farm worker dies in Canada. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security yesterday confirmed the death of 57-year-old farm worker Logan Grant of St. James, who died in Canada on March 13. According to the ministry, Grant was among a batch of workers who departed for Canada on March 5, 2021. As is required by the Government of Canada, Mr. Grant tested negative for COVID-19 prior to departing Jamaica, the ministry said in a statement. It is understood that Mr. Grant fell ill on Saturday and was taken to hospital by paramedics, where he died approximately 3 hours later. The cause of death is being investigated. There is no suspicion of foul play, it added. In the meantime, Labour Minister Carl Samuda and Permanent Secretary Colette Roberts-Risden has extended their condolences to Grant's immediate family, close friends, and his employer. Risden also indicated that the ministry's social worker visited the family yesterday. The ministry stands ready to provide support to the family and will be working to have his body flown back to Jamaica, the statement noted. All workers are tested for COVID-19 and must return a negative result prior to being processed at the ministry's East Street facility and boarding their flight at the Norman Manley International Airport, the ministry said. Grant was in his 24th season as a farm worker. 15-year-old Jyhiem Pinto missing. An ANANDA alert has been activated for 15-year-old Jyhiem Pinto, student of Mavis Bank, St. Andrew, who has been missing since March 4. He is of dark complexion, slim-built and about 168 centimeters tall. The police said Jyhiem was last seen at home at about 5:30 p.m. However, his mode of dress at the time he went missing is unknown. He has not been heard from since then. Anyone with information as to the whereabouts of Jyhiem Pinto is asked to contact the Papine Police at 876-927-2047, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. 587 new COVID cases, one more death. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has announced the recording of one more COVID-19 death locally over a 24-hour period up to Saturday afternoon. The deceased is a 72-year-old male from St. Catherine. The ministry, in advising of the 587 new cases of the virus over the same 24-hour period, said the batch brought the total number of confirmed positive cases nationally to 30,499. The new cases include 332 females and 255 males. The ages among the new cases range from 6 weeks to 95 years. Kingston and St. Andrew, with 162 cases, and St. Catherine with 111, were the clear leaders among the parishes in terms of the new case count. Over the 24-hour period, a total of 2,244 samples were tested, the ministry reported, and recoveries have increased, with 80 cases being recorded over the one-day period. The ministry also reported that of the 366 persons now hospitalized with the virus, 24 are classified as being moderately ill, while 36 are classified as being critically ill. Westmoreland COVID-19 treatment demands now over capacity. The Westmoreland Public Health Department is reporting that the parish's 34-bed COVID-19 isolation ward is over its capacity. This was disclosed by Dr. Marcia Graham, medical officer at the Westmoreland Public Health Department, during an address at Thursday's regular monthly meeting of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation. When we look at our isolation ward, we are at 115% occupancy. We currently have 34 isolation beds, and we would have activated our surgery area, which has 22 beds. We are up to 34 beds and we have 39 persons, she shared. Graham explained that of the 39 persons now in hospital, 11 have been confirmed with a respiratory illness, while the remaining 28 are believed to have contracted the virus. It means that every day we are getting people who are suspected, and before we can get back their results, we have to treat them as if they are COVID positive and put them in isolation. So it's putting a strain on the hospital, she outlined. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.